Hello, friends. Marie Beamon here. I would like to invite you to my research project presentation. My research was based on students' emotional intelligence and if it plays a role in academic achievement. I will go through how I planned my research, activities my participants performed, the results, and the findings. This section is about my educational background and the purpose of conducting the study. I am currently finishing my third year of teaching fourth grade. I have taught all 3 years at Harney Elementary in South Sioux City, Nebraska. Before getting my teaching degree, I was a paraeducator for 10 years. This is what led me to teaching. There were various roles I had as a paraeducator. I worked in different classrooms from preschool to 8th grade. During those years, I was a one-on-one para with students who were on the autistic spectrum. I also worked one-on-one with hearing impaired students. And last, I was a preschool para, working with all students, not just special ed. In my early years, I worked as a daycare provider as well as a respite care provider, which provided one-on-one care for students with special needs outside the school setting. After working in the education field for many years, I have observed that emotions play a role in how students behave and act in the classroom. Some students are able to handle and work through their emotions while maintaining their academics, while others have trouble and struggle to handle their emotions, resulting in loss of engagement. I wanted to take these observations and research to see if there is a relationship between students' emotional intelligence, which is defined as the ability to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and also to be able to handle interpersonal relationships. My intent was to see how or if one's emotional intelligence affects their academics. Last, I wanted to give my students strategies in working through their emotions, especially if it affected their academics. I want students to know that there are ways that they can get through emotional situations and do well in other areas of their lives, including school. In order to complete the study, I needed to conduct a thorough literature review, prepare and collect different materials, and last, collect the data. When researching the topic of emotional intelligence and academics, I found several areas of study that overlapped in the various books and articles I used. Those areas of study are social emotional learning to reduce stress and enhance well being, recognizing emotions, building positive relationships, teachers' role in emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and growth mindset. By utilizing these areas, I was then able to come up with a plan to carry out and collect data. After reviewing the literature that correlates with emotional intelligence and academics, I prepared to collect data in different forms. Those forms were an emotional intelligence survey, daily check ins by students, weekly meetings, and anecdotal notes throughout. First, I gave students an emotional intelligence survey to complete. The students were read the survey so that I could answer any questions or explain anything. The picture on the top right is a sample of 2 domains from the survey. There were actually 4. These 2 are emotional awareness and emotional management. Students would then indicate on a scale of 0 to 4 how they felt about that statement. As you can see, Some of the wording can be confusing to fourth graders, which is why I read the survey aloud to help them with any questions they had, which they did. The picture on the bottom shows how to score the survey and understand the different results. The gray shaded area would be considered proficient. My focus, however, was on the numbers below the gray shaded area. I wanted to see where students needed additional support and where I could help them in their different emotional intelligence, strengths, and weaknesses. The full survey can be found by clicking on the link. It is from the University of Minnesota Extension Center of Youth Development, and it was very enlightening to see the different results. The second form of data I collected was a daily check-in. Each morning, as part of the daily routine, students would get a sticky note, write their designated number on the back. This way it was confidential. They would then put the sticky note in the category of how they were feeling. The chart to the right was a large poster that was hung in the classroom. Students would put their sticky note in the category of how they felt: great, okay, meh, struggling, hard time, and not feeling happy. I would then keep track of the students' responses, which is a picture to the left. As you can see from the dates given, most students checked in as feeling great or okay. Because I color coordinated it, great was yellow, okay was pink, meh green, struggling orange, hard time blue, and not happy purple. Last was weekly meetings and anecdotal notes. During the weekly meetings, I would ask students the questions on this slide. How do you feel about your own emotional intelligence? Does emotional intelligence help you throughout the school day? How? How does emotional intelligence help you when it comes to academic performance? And additional comments by principal, investigator, or participant. Anecdotal notes would be taken any time during the study. Those could be done during classroom discussions, reading books, practicing strategies like breathing through emotions and mindfulness, and also whenever students shared their emotions. The next section includes the findings and collected data from the surveys, daily check-ins, and weekly meetings. The first survey results in September show that students feel more comfortable when it comes to relationship management, as that was the highest domain. They also indicated that they needed additional support with emotional awareness, as that was the lowest domain given in September. The second survey, which was given in December of 2019, shows some improvement from the study. The highest domain ended up being emotional awareness, which in September was the lowest domain. However, the students indicate emotional management is where they need additional support now. These surveys indicate that students are not aware of their emotional intelligence and need more support in order to be comfortable and understand their emotional intelligence. The daily check-in was done each morning. Here are a few examples of student results. There is no conclusive data that shows students' daily check-ins reflect academic achievement. Many students who indicated great or okay throughout the study were some students who struggled regularly in different subject areas, academics, and classroom engagement. You can see a positive finding that most students did come to school feeling great or okay, which I consider a win. The last graph on this slide indicates if students believe emotional intelligence helps them during the school day. As you can see, 93% of students participating believe it does. However, the weekly meetings I did with students showed evidence that students do not know how it helps them. Many students could not explain how emotional intelligence helps them do better when it comes to academics, which is why I want to explore this further. The anecdotal notes indicate that students understand when they feel happy or sad, but they don't understand how or if that plays a role in their school day and their academics. The next section includes the implications of the study, what I need to do in order to find more connections, and where I want to go from here. More data needs to be gathered in order to have conclusive findings. I collected a lot of data about how students feel about their emotional intelligence. However, I need to compare that data to something academic, which I did not include in the IRB, so I could not include in my study. After reflecting, I would now compare this data to possible academic data, which includes grades on assignments, MAP tests, and other state administered tests. Since MAP scores are taken in September and December, that would be a great place to look to see if scores increased. Another way I would change the study is to change the wording of some of the questions in the weekly meetings. I feel the language was confusing, so I would want to make changes to that and make it more kid friendly. I would also like to have students participate more in discussions, reading more books and articles about emotions. And also, role playing is important. All of these would help with emotional intelligence growth and understanding. I will continue to research this topic further because I feel that it is an important tool for understanding students' academic achievement. And if students' emotional well being is positive, academics can then improve as well. As professionals in the education field, we all realize that students' emotional needs must be fulfilled in order for their academic needs to be met. I encourage all of you to take the time to get to know your students. Find out what their emotional needs are. That way, you both are able to fully address their academics and help them where they need it most. I hope you enjoyed my research project on emotional intelligence and have a great day.